Hello, my name is Skye, and welcome to Forge of Empires. This has to be one of my all-time favorite browser games. It is also a mobile game, but I try to play primarily on browser due to some features being available on browser and others not being available on mobile, but for the most part, everything in the game is available on both mobile and browser. Guild vs. Guild is the only feature of Forge of Empires that is not available on mobile, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What is most important to note in this game is that it is very much a resource management game. In this game, you have common resources like coins and supplies, less common resources like metals and forge points, and the most rare of resources being diamonds. I do occasionally spend money on this game, but diamonds are the premium currency here at Forge of Empires, and they are rather expensive. So you might want to avoid spending diamonds on anything except expansions to your city. Other than diamonds, your next most important spendable resource would be forge points. Forge points regenerate 1 every hour, therefore you natively acquire 24 every day. Forge points can be used to research technology on the tech tree, or they can be used to contribute to great buildings you choose to build, or to friends, guildmates, and neighbors' great buildings. Great buildings are a really fun part of the game, but that is something else that we will also talk about later. Right now, I believe it is most important to talk about the technology tree. There are many features in the game that can only be accessed once you have researched the corresponding technology. One of the very first things you're going to unlock or research, the game is going to make you unlock, and that should be spears. Spears is going to unlock the continent map. And the continent map can be found here on this small array of icons. So the continent map, again, is here, and it looks like this. My city is very new, and therefore I have not progressed very far on the continent map at all. In fact, I've only unlocked my very first province. That's what these different regions are called, provinces. And inside each province, there are separate sectors. You can get things such as access to the player versus player tournament towers, expansions, good deposits, and just plain old treasure chests of coins and supplies. It takes time to scout each new province, so be aware of that, and make sure you're aware that as you scout further and further along the continent map, it is going to take you longer and longer to reach those new provinces. I believe your first province only takes like 10 seconds to scout, and then from there, I believe this one is like 8 minutes, and the next one is about 10 minutes, and then the next one's going to be about 15 minutes, and so on and so on and so forth, until eventually it's going to take you several days just to scout a new sector. This is your building menu. It is going to show you all of the buildings that you currently can build, and anything that you do not have the resources for, whether that is population, which you can find here, or other resources such as your coins and supplies. If you cannot afford to build it, it will be grayed out. The game is really helpful that way. You also have goods buildings. Again, these are things where you can unlock a boost for it on the continent map. You are randomly assigned a boost when you scout new provinces for an era. And so I happened to get grapes this playthrough. Dye and Vineyard are 2 of the 5 goods that are available in Bronze Age. And if you're an experienced player, you might notice that I have almost all Bronze Age buildings, and yet my Town Hall is of Iron Age. I very, very recently aged up and have not had the chance to reconstruct my city yet. I also haven't researched very far, in case you didn't notice. But yes, goods are a very important part of the game. Eventually, it will start costing you goods, such as this. In order to unlock Militia, I have to pay 8 wine. Goods become a very important part of the game, especially as you get in later and later eras and ages. It will cost you more and more, and the goods are going to become more valuable in and of themselves as well. So, a large part of this game, again, is resource management, and goods are another resource that you have to manage. If you do not have any goods yet in your city, this will not appear. But once you get your first goods, you can hover over this and it will show you how many of each current era good you have. And you can also click on it in order for it to take you to your inventory. And it will show you all of the goods that you have available. Again, I'm only in Iron Age, which is only the 2nd researchable technology path on the tree. And so, again, I don't have many of any of them. This can also be found right here from your inventory icon. You click on that. This gives you an overview of everything that you have that is in your inventory, but you have not yet built in your city. These are things that you can win from events, or you can get them as prizes from the guild expedition, but it's not going to automatically build it in your city, and so it goes into your inventory until you are ready to build it, or to use it in the case of some of these boosts. Right here you have the global tab. You can use this to see where you rank currently, globally. You can use it to find guilds, see where you rank in how many medals you have collected, and see where your great buildings stand in comparison to other players. You can also access your guild from this tab, see the members, see what level and what boosts you get, donate to your guild treasury, and you can also visit the guild forum and the game forum. These will open into separate tabs. Again, we've already been to the inventory, we've already been to the continent map, we've been to the research tree, and here is army management. I do not like to fight in this game, which I think is a very unpopular opinion when it comes to other content creators I've seen on YouTube. It is actually the sole reason I decided to make these YouTube videos about Forge, because I feel like I'm one of very few people that plays this game from a combat minimalistic perspective. I don't have that many units, but I know of many friends and many guildmates that do have so many military buildings in their cities, and they have so many units because they want to be able to advance very far on the continent map, or they want to fight a lot in Guild Expedition, commonly called GE, or they want to fight a lot in Guild Battlegrounds, commonly called GBG, or they also want to fight in Guild versus Guild, commonly known as GVG. Again, I don't like to fight anywhere. I have hardly played any GVG. I think the extent of my playing in GVG has been to donate troops for siege camps to defend our existing sectors that my guild owns, but I have never fought and tried to take sectors in GVG. So I will not be talking much about GVG at all in my videos, with the exception of right here, to tell you that this is how you get there. If you want to learn how to play GVG, then by all means, ask your guildmates, or find another player's guide to it here on YouTube. I know I have watched a lot of Faux Elites videos, and they're very good. But I am not the person you want to come to for fighting. I am the person you want to come to for many other things. This is Guild Expedition. It is right next to the GVG icon, so GE. Guild Expedition, you essentially progress through its... They make a lot of Indiana Jones references in this game, and it's really quite funny because I enjoy puns. But essentially, you can either choose to fight and defeat this army, or you can choose to negotiate. And this is my Faux Helper extension on Chrome. I'm going to exit out of it, and I'm going to choose, just for the sake of showing you how negotiating works, to put all supplies in, because I know that I'm going to collect many more supplies in this game than coins. So I always do supplies first, but that is just me. And now it's telling me that these 3 individuals did not want supplies. Therefore, as it's the only other resource, they must want coins. Now, negotiations can become extremely complex. There can be 10 different options that you have to attempt to sort through. And if you do not get the correct combination in the time frame, in the number of turns that the game gives you, you can choose to extend by paying 10 diamonds to add 1 turn. But I advise against doing that if you can help it, as diamonds are, again, so incredibly, incredibly valuable in this game. Unless you are absolutely certain that you know what the next combination of items should be, or if you feel that you've wasted an incredible amount, would have wasted an incredible amount of goods to give up, that is the only time that I would say it's worth it to spend those diamonds. So that's Guild Expedition. I'll go back to it one more time. Again, you can hover over these to see what the possible rewards are. The 3rd encounter, because you're going to start off with 4, the 3rd encounter will always be a military unit. This is considered like, I consider it like the mini boss sort of thing that you could equate it to in other games, and it tends to give you better rewards. Then once you have cleared this mini boss encounter, it will clear this fog of war and show you the next 4. Again, the 3rd encounter is always going to give you a military unit. Once you defeat the next mini boss encounter, the next 4 will unlock, and again, the 3rd encounter will always be a military unit, and so on and so on and so forth. There are 4 levels to GE. You must finish the 1st level in order to get to 2nd level, and even if you do finish the 1st level, it is up to your guild to unlock the next level. I believe I have now covered all of these with the exception of the market. Again, my Faux Helper is automatically opening up. If you really, really love this game and you're a hardcore player, I would recommend you download the Faux Helper extension. It's a Chrome extension. I do not know if it is available on Firefox. I imagine it's not available on Internet Explorer. But I do need to play around with my settings because I do not like how it automatically opens a lot of the time. However, this is the market. You can create offers if you are in need of a good that you do not have, and you can exchange goods you do have for it. It will not let you create an offer for, let's do something like this. So this is a Bronze Age good, this is an Iron Age good. It will not let you do more than a, let's just do something like this, more than a 0.5 and a 2 multiplier ratio. So you can see it's changing this from 60 to 40. And I could not do something like this either. Again, it would want me to change these numbers so that they are within the 2 times and the 0.5 ratio. So see, this person needs 60 silk. They're offering 120, so they're offering double. And again, with this person, they're offering double. Anyone with a 0.5? This person is doing a 1.5, so they must really need this lumber because they're willing to give 5 extra of the same age good in order to get it. So this is where you can trade if you need a good and you have an excess of another good. So again, this is basically Forge of Empires. You can access Guild Expedition with this ship or with this icon. This is a ruin right now because I have not researched the appropriate technology in order to unlock Guild Battlegrounds. Guild Expedition is also something that you need to unlock, although technically it is unlocked with researching the Smithery, because that is when you unlock guilds themselves. The game still will not let you participate in Guild Expedition until you reach Iron Age. So there's no specific research for Guild Expedition other than having Smithery researched and reaching Iron Age. In order to contribute to other players' great buildings, you must unlock architecture. You can contribute to your own great buildings, and you can build your own great buildings without researching architecture, but you cannot contribute to anyone else's building until this is unlocked. There are also daily quests that you can get. There will be an extra quest tab here on the side. But again, this is something you must research and then pay that 8 wine in order to unlock it. Military Tactics unlocks player versus player. When player versus player is unlocked, and I don't have it unlocked, so I cannot show you in this specific city, but when this is unlocked, you can choose to plunder your neighbors instead of aid them. I still prefer to exclusively aid my neighbors in order to get these free resources. As a young player, being able to find coins from other places besides residential buildings is very important, because you're not going to have as many residential buildings as you need to build up coins and build buildings, build necessary buildings. So I highly recommend aiding for as long as possible. And also, if you like to fight and you plunder, please just realize that you are inviting other people to plunder your city as well. People do get salty in this game, trust me. So again, this technology will unlock PvP and allow you to plunder. This technology allows you to unlock reconstruction mode, which is really handy if you want to try to play with your city and try to get a better layout, try to make things fit together better, maybe try to reduce the number of roads in your city, that sort of thing. And then plowing is a very important technology, I believe, because the cultural settlements that you can complete are really good for giving you some good special buildings that will help your city grow a lot faster. I think the only other technology that you need to research in order to unlock a game feature is the Antiques Dealer. Oh, I actually did skip one. I believe it's in Bronze Age. It's one of the early ones. Let's see. Yes, construction. In Bronze Age, it's really easy to research things quickly, and you definitely want to research construction as fast as you can because this unlocks the Friends Tavern. You also want to research cultivation as quickly as you can, especially if you're only getting started right now, because this unlocks special events, and we are in the middle of a special event right now. It is currently August 4th. We are a week into the summer event. If you are just starting playing and you can get to that research to be able to take part of the summer event, you're going to be able to get a really nice special building that will also really help your city grow. So those are all of the key technologies that you want to unlock. So I'm going to go back over the Friends Tavern because it is so important. I am going to go over the summer event in another video, and I'm also going to cover the Antiques Dealer and great buildings before I end this video. So I'm going to try to keep myself on track because I know that I can go off on tangents sometime. But I'm going to talk about the Antiques Dealer first, considering it is still a ruin in this city, and I want to not forget about it. So the Antiques Dealer is a place where you can trade items that you have in your inventory, like this domestication pen. I am never going to put this in my city. So what I want to do is I want to research economics so that I can unlock that antiques dealer, and so I can barter this away for the special currency there. Okay, I am going to take you to another one of my cities. I'm actually going to take you to my main world. And here in Forge of Empires, there is at least one world for every letter of the alphabet. There are 2 for A and 2 for B. Arvahal and Brisgard, as well as Angkor and Burka. You can have a city in every single one of these worlds if you love this game. Right now, I only have cities in 3. And even in F world, it's I haven't really done much with this city, but in X, H, and E, I have this city is in early Middle Ages and this city is in modern era. And so I'm going to take you here, but I do enjoy playing, so I have multiple cities indeed. Right, so the Antiques Dealer. Let's go. Again, you can exchange any buildings in your inventory for these special trade coins. You can use these coins and also these gemstones. These values are dependent on what you are trading away. The better the game considers the building to be, the more you're going to get for it. Now, a lot of people are probably going to see this that are experienced players and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe she is bartering away her tribal square. But this building is so big, and I get my goods through quest looping, which I will explain in a different video. So this building is a waste of space to me. It only produces 5 goods when it's motivated, and it takes up 12 squares of my city. Also, it provides population, which I have plenty of. So I do not need this building at all. I also already have a level 9 governor's villa, so I do not need these upgrade kits anymore. That's why I am bartering them away. But essentially, you can take part in auctions to get what the antique dealer considers to be, there's some special name for it, but I think it's exquisite items. And so this is, again, an auction. So you can bid, as long as, of course, you have the amount of coins. You can bid for these special buildings, and other people will outbid you, and it can turn into a war. But generally, these tend to be really good items. Just, it depends on what you want in your city, whether or not you think it's worth it. And then every 24 hours, these will refresh, and you can just buy them outright without having to bid for it. You do not use the gemstones here. You only use trade coins, but you do use the gemstones for here. So this is what the Antiques Dealer is for. It's a really good way to get things you don't want in your inventory out and trade them for what you think are better items. So that's the Antiques Dealer. This is the Friends Tavern. Oh my goodness, this is so incredibly important. The Friends Tavern, it's again something you have to research, but it's in Bronze Age, so it should be fairly easy for you to do. You can build up your Friends Tavern from, I think you start out with only 3 seats and like no tray. You start off with this wooden tray that gives you no effect. You start off with no tablecloth, no effect. Rustic planks. You only, actually, I don't think you start with this. I think you have to unlock this. And so basically, these things, with the exception of the tablecloth, all help you get more tavern silver. The more people you have at your table, the more you're going to get per person who sits down. See how these numbers increase? And you want to therefore let the table fill up as much as you can so that you get as many coins as possible. If I collect now, if someone sits down, if I had not collected, I'd be getting 82 coins. But instead, because I collected, I'd only be getting 62 coins. So you want to try to let this fill up. If you're about to go to sleep and you only have 14 people, or let's say your table is 8 and you have 6 people at it, you might want to collect it so that overnight, if 4 or 5 people want to sit down at your tavern, because that's when they play, you have space available for them. But generally, if there's more than 2 spots open, I do not collect until I have 14 out of 16 people or more at my tavern. I have 510,000 coins right now because I've had this table maxed out for a very long time, but it does cost tavern silver to upgrade these items. They do give you really good things, especially this tablecloth. This tablecloth is the only thing that does not help you directly. It helps the people that sit down at your tavern by giving them a % chance to find a forge point. So you want to have friends on your list that have nice red tablecloths so that you have an 8% chance to find a forge point when you sit down in that other person's tavern. The other reason the tavern shop is so amazing is because of these boosts. Well, this is the reason the tavern shop is so amazing, is because of these boosts. If you find that you have all of the supplies in the world and you really need coins from the few coins buildings that you have, you can activate a 60% boost for a day to get yourself more coins. Same for supplies if it's the other way around. This extra turn for negotiating Guild Expedition is amazing. In Guild Expedition, let's see, where am I? That's the continent map. Guild Expedition. I'm here. I'm on level 2, as you can see. If I want to negotiate, it's not that expensive for me right now. But when I get to this mini-boss encounter, this is going to be 7 or 8 different resources that I have to attempt to negotiate with. In 3 turns, I'm probably not going to figure it out, and so that 4th turn to be able to play with is really, really valuable. That is probably one of the single most used boosts from the tavern, and you can select how long, but you can also see that it's natively one of the more expensive boosts from the very start. You can also make sure that your city is enthusiastic if you're having happiness problems. And you can also, if you're having problems with people picking up goods, you can activate lower merchant trade ratio. You can give yourself attacker, defender, and city shield boosts. And you can also decrease the amount of time it takes to construct or recruit units. So the tavern can really, really, really help you out. The settlements are another thing I said that I would talk about. Essentially, you can come here, slowly build up a settlement. I'm almost done with this one. All I need are some of these last goods. Look, I have 120 paintings. I only need 30 more. And I need, what is that, 7 armor in order to, and then I also need to get this up. This is, what is it called? It has a name. Come on. Diplomacy. You have to build specific buildings to get diplomacy. You have to build specific goods buildings in order to get whatever goods this settlement wants you to get. And then you slowly unlock and build things in order to fulfill the quests that this person gives you to get rewards, finish the settlement, and get the settlement rewards. Now, I practically exclusively over and over again complete this Japanese settlement. I came back to the game in March of 2020, end of March, after a 3-year break, and this was a completely new mechanic to me, just like Guild Battlegrounds. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? I like Japan. I'll do Japan. And from what I've seen on the wiki, this Shinto temple gets to be one of the most amazing city growth tools that you can put if you can get it all the way upgraded in your city. You'll get that 25% supply collection bonus, 50 random goods every 24 hours, 12 forge points, and 15,400 supplies. All of that in 24 hours. That's amazing. The building is only 3x4, which is 12 squares, so you're getting 1 forge point per square, which is insane compared to when I stopped playing back in April of 2017. So I seem to have randomly picked one of the better settlements to do, but there is also an Egypt settlement and there's also a Viking settlement. I believe that all of these special buildings that you can get fragments for their selection kits, I believe all of them give a unit, one random unit from your age at the highest level, but I know that Egypt does, but I'm unsure about the Vikings one. But all of the settlements have their own special building that you can level up very high. And then they all also have a secondary building where you get a bonus to get these fragments if you can complete the settlement in a specific time. I have 1 day and 16 hours left to finish this settlement and get all 3 of these. If I cannot do this in 1 day and 16 hours, I lose the 9, but I still get the 4 and the 2 if I can complete it in 3 days after that. And then if I still can't complete it in this time, then I'll still get these 2 fragments. Alright, and the final thing that I'm going to talk about, again, I'm not going to go over GVG almost at all. Final thing I'm going to talk about is great buildings. The way you build great buildings. Let's see, Statue of Zeus. Alright, I already have this great building built. So I think that's probably a bad idea. Let's go to Notre Dame. I find Notre Dame to be a useless great building. There are better great buildings in later eras, and I would rather hold off building this rather than building this now and then deleting it later for a better building. Anyway, note, 50 forge points are required for level 1. So let's say, yeah, I have all of the blueprints that I need for this building. That is necessary. You need to collect a full set of blueprints. You also need to have all of these specific goods. These goods will be different depending on what age the great building is from. Notre Dame, I believe, is from the High Middle Ages, so it requires High Middle Age goods. The Colosseum, which I also have not built because it is also useless, is from the Iron Age, and so it requires Iron Age goods. It also requires fewer forge points to level up. When you construct a new great building, you will have to pay a full set of blueprints, all of the goods, and then you can place it in your city, just like these great buildings. But it will show up as a construction site. You will have to pay whatever that specified number of forge points is in order to get the building built and have it start giving you these bonuses. I'm not going to get into this video what are good and what are bad great buildings. I am just here to let you know that this is a mechanic in the game. Great buildings can be good, great buildings can be okay, great buildings can be bad. The only other thing is that once you have, alright, I guess it's two more things with great buildings. Once you have it built, you can continuously level it up. So right now my statue of Zeus is only level 4. I literally built this building, I think, 3 days ago, because I'm only just now starting to prioritize at the very least being able to auto battle my way through some of Guild Expedition. I used to exclusively negotiate. So Statue of Zeus is a very low age building, so it only gives you one bonus, and that is attack boost. In order to level it up, I have to contribute 210 forge points in order to get it to level 5. This is why forge points are arguably one of the most important resources in Forge aside from diamonds, because you can get some really amazing great buildings like the Ark, and you're going to want to level these great buildings up very, very high, and the investment in order to get these buildings so high is going to become more and more forge points. The final thing I'm going to tell you about great buildings is that if you want to level any great building past level 10, you have to collect another full set of blueprints. Every building will have levels 1 through 10 available to you, but once it reaches level 10, again, if you want to go above level 10, you have to collect another full set of blueprints, and then you can click this unlock button. It will consume another full set of blueprints, and then you can do it again and again and again until, what's a great building that I have constructed but I don't have a full set of prints for? Inno Tower. Inno Tower, I'm still missing 2 blueprints, so I cannot unlock level 12. And there you have it. That is basically everything there is to Forge of Empires, with the exception of events. Events always change. They always have different mechanics, unless it's the same exact event from a previous year. But Inno does like to innovate. And often, even if the event is the same, a lot of the times the mechanics will be very different. So, I'm not going to get into events very much. I'm not going to get into how to build your city. This was specifically just to show you all really what all the buttons are, what all the resources are, what all of these different things mean. And Guild Battlegrounds, I would show you, except it's currently Tuesday, and Guild Battlegrounds just finished. So we have to wait until Thursday in order for me to show how Guild Battlegrounds works. But just know that you can access Guild Battlegrounds here. We're in Diamond League, so we have this really fancy fountain sculpture building here. And it's basically better GVG in my opinion. So I believe I covered everything. And just make sure you try to get into a nice guild that'll give you some passive forge points with the level of the guild. And I think that if you follow everything else, you should be pretty set. I know this video was very long. It was 40 minutes. So if you got this far, thank you very much for sticking with me. Let me know what you think about it in the comments, or if you think I left anything out. I do plan to cover a lot more things specifically in future videos. This was again just supposed to be a very general overview of all of the different features in this game and why I love it so much. So I hope to see you again in a future video, and I will see you later.